Welcome back. Welcome back to Kspot, your go-to podcast for all things grace and beyond. Today we'll delve into two significant events: the historic Athens Marathon, the Remembrance Sunday commemorations in the UK, and so much more packed up for you guys. So stay tuned as we unravel the stories behind these iconic events. All right. Okay. Another one yet to be done. Welcome. Wherever you're listening from, welcome. Let me hope you guys are very, very awesome and good and great. If you're coming back for the next for a second time, if you're a returning listener, I appreciate your listenership here. If you're first time, welcome to Kspot podcast, and I hope you won't be disappointed. Today we're going to be discussing about the two main events that happened this weekend, but we'll start with the main one we here in Greece, which is the Athens Marathon. So this one was the 41st Athens Marathon, the authentic as they call it, because this is the original marathon before everything else out there sprang out. Everything started from here. That's why I think in the past few years they decided to add on the authentic part. So the 41st Athens Marathon, the authentic, took place this weekend, of course. It started yesterday, on Saturday, the 9th of November, and it was wrapped up today. A few people, they managed to win, a lot of winners, and a lot of this time the winner of the marathon, I think, was a Greek guy. I forgot the name, but yeah, I think the first three positions were won by Greeks, which is very unusual. Mostly most of these this marathon is won by these international athletes who come from abroad, to come and participate. But nevertheless, it's always whether you win or nothing, or you win something or you don't come out with a win, but it's always a fun event to be part of, and always is the cause that why these events are put together. The charities that are taken care of, that benefit from the funds that are raised from these events, that's where the beauty is. And if you're part of that, I think you're part of the change and you're contributing to the betterment of the world at large. So this is the whole point. So if you manage to be around Athens today, you've seen how busy it's been. It's been really, really very busy. Everyone was ready in their gears, their running gears, through shoes and everything. It was the participants were around 73,000, a bit more than last year, which was around 70,000 people that participated in the whole in this whole journey and running. So it's a very, very iconic, enduring event. In one of the most iconic enduring events in the world, to be fair, the Athens Marathon. So in the sports world, it has a really very top spot. But its origins and early developments can be traced back to the birth of the modern Olympic Games, which were around in 1896. But the roots as a long distance endurance race go way back than the 1896. It goes back all the way to the Battle of Marathon in 490 BC. A very, very pivotal moment in Western history. Because if some people would say that's where actually I think democracy began or was born from, that kind of that battle right there. That's why it's very, very important. The first Athens Marathon, the first one, because now this one is it is the 41st, but the first one took place in 1972. I think it was April 1972. And the 42 kilometers course was designed to imitate the route that was taken by legendary runner Pheidippides. Oh, that name is really hard. The Greek names are always challenged, but Pheidippides is a legendary runner. Who's a guy who delivered the news to the Greek, of the Greek victory at the marathon, to the Athenian assembly. And this is way back during the Greco-Persian War from when was that? Well, from 449 to 499 BC. That's when the time was, and there was a conflict between the Persian Empire and and the city-states of Greece. But in the late summer of the 490 BC, the Athenians faced almost a strong, invading Persian army in the site of Marathon. Marathon is north of Athens. Is an area, is a city, a town, I would say. It's a town in north of Athens. So following the battle, it would prove a defining, moment in the rise of the classical Greek civilization, as I mentioned before. In the lead up to the battle, Athenians sent Pheidippides, the guy who was basically, his job was like a professional running courier, the way you have your SES, DHL, but this was like he was a courier, but a runner. So they sent him to go to Sparta to request some military aid, because this Peloponnesian city-state had the finest army, in the Greek. It had soldiers and infantrymen who were trained, for war since they were like 7, like small. So Pheidippides ran like the 200-kilometer route from Athens to Sparta in 2 days, across the rugged, hostile terrain, and all these physicality that he expressed, like to go in order to to pass on the message to the Spartans, to give them support, to give the Athenians support. So, but due to the strict observance of the festival, the Spartans didn't give their support to the the Athenians that they wanted. So the guy Pheidippides had to run again the same journey, had to do it to come back to Athens, as fast as good, to deliver the news that Athens stood alone in defense of Greece. Where they went to get support, there was none. So he had to come and deliver the news again to to give the guys that we're gonna be on our own. Now back in the marathon, they had to prepare. He joined the rest of the army instead of expecting anything. So they prepared for battle of what was coming. The Greek forces were like about 11,000 men, led by the general Miltiades, charged the Persian and scored a very, very big victory against all odds. So in the immediate aftermath, Pheidippides was once again called our personal courier. Gotta deliver some news again, but this time they delivered the news of victory to the anxiously waiting, the Athenian assembly, running from Marathon to Athens, a distance of approximately 40 kilometers. So if I repeat this, deliver the message that we have won. And immediately after delivering the message, poor thing dropped and died from exhaustion. I mean, in a course of less than a week, Fight Peters had ran over 500 kilometers. I mean, aside from inspiring the modern marathon, his epic run between Athens and Sparta, the first one, is the basis of the 246 kilometers of the ultra marathon, the one we know as the Spartathlon now. So that it basically gave birth to two kinds of marathons. The first one, that is like the one which was the 40 kilometers, which is always ran from Marathon, that area, to the center of Athens, and the ultra marathon, which is the Spartathlon, Sparta, which is the area, and Athlon, which is like running and stuff. So those two, the first one was based on his fast journey that it took to go to ask for help, and the second one is the one which it was tasked with the news of victory to the Athenian assembly, to tell them that we won. But because of the exhaustion, he didn't manage to make a return route, so it was a one-way trip for him. But from there, the legend of Philippides' run and his subsequent death played a crucial role in the revival of the marathon in the modern era. For example, in the late 19th century, there was a growing interest in reviving the Olympic Games, but because they were already held in ancient Greece. We know Greece is one of the path of sports, of course, but for centuries they were not taking place. So the idea of the modern Olympics was basically conceived by a French guy, different. It's a hard name. It's Pierre de Coubertin, I think, something like that. I'm 100% sure. My pronunciation doesn't sound French at all. Pierre. God, I have a French friend. She always tried to teach me some pronunciations. And he said the R is like so Pierre de Coubertin, I think that's the name. But anyway, so that French academic who believed that the education of the international value of sports and stuff. So he decided he proposed to include the long distance race that would symbolize the spirit of ancient Greeks, and also to remember our guy, the courier guy, Philippides. So his suggestion led to the marathon race, which was born after that. So they agreed with him, and they designed that course of approximately 40 kilometers that we run, or that is being run currently. So the 40-kilometer course was based on the distance from the ancient city of Marathon to the heart of Athens. And so these fast Olympic Games were held in Athens in April 6 on 15th in 1896, and the marathon was won by a former soldier, Spyridon Lewis. He's a Greek guy, actually. That was, I think, the country was yearning to get a Greek victor, when it came to this sport. And his win, Spyridon Lewis, served as a powerful symbol of the Greek national pride and determination and endurance, capturing the hearts of his compatriots and the people around the world. So this is like everyone was so happy to see that, okay, the cause is Greek, and at least we have a Greek victor before everything else. So in the following years, marathons have been organized, of course, in various countries, and there's we got a standard distance of 42.9195 kilometers, which is about like 26 miles, which is the standard for the events, for the marathons. But I think they added the 2 kilometers. I was reading about that whole thing. I think the extra 2 kilometers were added because of the London Marathon. After the London Marathon, they were running and they were stopping somewhere before the house of the royal house, the royal family house, and they added some 2 kilometers. I forgot the name of the place. So from there, it became the standard kilometers that is ran for this marathon, which is in the Olympics. Sorry, so that is the 42.95 kilometers. So the first international marathon race outside of the Olympics was held in Boston, Massachusetts, in the US. And I think that was in, if I remember correctly, that was in 1897. That's what I read. So, and also for the guys in the States, they chose this date basically to commemorate a famous ride of a historic figure known as Paul Revere. So he's, according to American history, I'm not very big on American history, but according to what I researched a little bit, he was also a very crucial guy in the history of Boston. At some point there was an invasion, the British invasion in America, and he rode his horse and went and warned some of the Boston area residents. So he became a very important figure. So for that reason, they decided to set a date for the Boston Marathon based on these guys very well did of April 18th in 1775. So the Boston Marathon is April 19. In 1897, that was the first one in Boston. But this marathon played a crucial role in popularizing the marathon race in the US and beyond. The major cities like the New York Marathon, Chicago, and of course London Marathon followed later on, which is I think in 1981. So everywhere they decided to take on these whole thing. So briefly, that is like the whole history about this whole marathon and the importance and what makes it really an important marathon, which most of the runners and athletes, they really put it on their bucket list that they have to run the Athens Marathon, because he gave birth to a lot of pretty much every other marathon that you see out there in other cities of the world. So that's why Greece is a very, very important country in a sense when it comes to the initiation of so many concepts of society, that many things that take place kind of emanated from these parts of the world, this part of the world, and then spread out to the rest of the world. I was reading about that whole thing, and I realized that there was one text I read, and it's like if it wasn't for the victory of the marathon battle, it would be really hard to give the whole concept of democracy a proper roots into the society. So it was like fighting for that. That's what gave it the weight and the significance and the rule and the reason for them to fight tooth and nail in order to win, because they knew they were fighting for their freedom on a larger scale. Unless they know that whatever they were fighting for is going to shape this society and give it order in its sense. That is a question which is still and the question, it's not well implemented. Pretty much most of Not all the parts of the world are still playing by the rules, but at least they have the illusion of democracy. That is politics for you. But anyway, speaking of politics, my colleagues, my friends, my listeners in the US, you had a busy week too. You're making some decisions, regardless of how much you want to stay out of the US business. But the way the US business looks for you. So we saw your week was really very busy. You managed to decide for yourself a leader, the 47th president, who happened to be a 45th president as well. So you managed, they turned out you never had enough of him, so you gave him a second chance to go and drive you the next 4 years. It was busy, and now that's where the question, the most important thing is, so you promise people bread, you better deliver bread. You promise whatever you gotta promise, you have to get to work. Now I think that's the next version or the next step for all the people that have been chosen. Donald Trump is the new president. So anyway, moving on. I don't want to dwell so much on politics. We'll have to talk about as long as some of the effects in another time, in other episodes anyway. So that is the marathon for you, my friend. And the next time, if you want to participate, it's quite easy. So it happens every November. I think it's the second weekend of November. So you can come, or it's in Athens, and spend a weekend. It's literally just one weekend where you can come and have a good time and exercise and stay fit and be active and be part of a big historical event and a big cause that you can be really very memorable. It's something that you can talk about. If who knows, if you're good, you can even go back home with a medal if you're good with your running and sprinting and long marathons. So it's one thing. There are different distances. They have the 10 kilometers, they had the 40. So that's it depends on which one you feel fit to do and to be part of. Now, across the Atlantic, the United Kingdom is observing Remembrance Sunday, of course, which was held on the second side of November. That commemorates the British service member who died in wars and other military conflicts since the onset of World War. By tradition, a 2-minute period of silence is observed throughout the country at 11 a.m. And the church services and the different gatherings in different parts of the country. So today I was watching the whole thing on BBC and saw the king looking in a very good shape, I'll tell you that. Everyone there, the people were laying their wreath from different parts, different leaders and especially the countries, leaders from the Commonwealth countries. So all these people, they come together to celebrate this day. It is a very big day. It's a very big weekend. It's not a festival one in a way. It's just a very gloomy in a sense because they're just remembering the past souls. And this day, the whole titular armistice was signed in 5:45 a.m. in November 11th in 1918. So there is a treaty that was signed at the end of the First World War in 1918 in France, and this agreement took effect at 11 a.m. Hence ending the war on the Western Front on the 11th hour of the 11th day of the 11th month. So that's why there is that 2-minute silence at 11 a.m. On this day when people are more gathering on this day of the Remembrance Sunday, or the stairs. So this ceremony has been held for decades at the Cenotaph Monument in central London. So that's where most of the politicians, religious leaders, military personnel, and the royal family, they camp down there to, with the iconic poppy flowers. I was really very curious that mango flowers, why the poppy? The poppy was, became associated with World War One, the First World War. Memorials after this. It's called flowers. They bloomed in the former battlefields of Belgium and North France. So in 1921, the British Royal Legion, the charitable organization of the veterans, began selling the red paper poppies. So on whenever they're celebrating the Armistice Day, so the annual poppy appeal has been since then they chose that flower. So it's, if you don't know the poppies, they're just red flowers with a small center, with some black seeds, I think, in the middle. If you watch games, for example, if you're a football fan, you see everyone wearing that little red flower. That's the poppy. So many people on this day, they really wear that, and for the celebration, and on the Cenotaph Monument, they make wreaths of these flowers and they lay them on the whole thing. So it's a very important day, not only in England but also to the member states, the Commonwealth, or as you can tell, the former British colonies. So they take part in this whole celebration of the day. Anyway, that was one of the other things, which was out of Greece. And back home here, there's, if you follow some travel industry, this on Friday, was it Friday today? On Thursday, yeah. The Trevi Awards, they were done. They were celebrated. They took place on Thursday. Now, this event is known as the Oscars of the travel industry. It recognizes the top industry suppliers, including destinations, hotels, cruise lines, airlines, tour operators, and more, based on the knowledge and experience, of who knows best. So that event took place on Thursday. So they people take to cast their votes. And this year's event was held in Fort Lauderdale in the US. So the reason why I talk about this is because Greece managed to really score big and managed to walk away with 4 golden awards. That is really very big news. For example, Greece won the best destination in the Mediterranean, won the best destination in Europe, best cruise destination in Europe, best tourism board in Europe. So I'm telling you, we passed with flying colors. So congratulations to Greece and the Greek tourism ministry, and I hope things keep moving in the right direction and keep improving the services and infrastructures to make things better and attract a lot of people. So this whole situation today, it was both a lot of activities but also very good news for Greece itself. So I won't make this one long, of course. I always want to keep the episodes a bit small. I want them to be easily digestible. I don't want to keep you waiting. So there's a full list of awards and who won what and where and which part of the world. All these, like, when it comes, if you want to know how your country performed in different categories, you can look for that. Trevi Awards, the list is out for 2024. If you're big into the tourism industry, you will see different performances from different companies and countries. For example, the best cruise line was won. The best cruise line in the Caribbean was the Royal Caribbean, and then you had Carnival Cruise, Disneyland, and you had, for example, what else? It's a long list. I can just skim through it and tell you a few things that catch my eye anyway. So the best cruise line, what was that? The best river cruise line. So there's Viking, they won the gold. Armour Waterways, they won the silver. Avalon Waterways won the bronze. So these are like two operators. The best destinations this is what I was looking for. So the best destination is in Asia. There was Japan took gold. Of course, Japan. God, I've never been. I want to visit Japan. I have it on my list. I've heard so many things, like so much about it. So best destination in Asia, you have Japan took gold, Thailand took silver, and Singapore took bronze. Singapore took bronze? Anyway, okay. I'm not gonna argue. I think that's where the most votes came from. Depends on who voted what. And then you have the best city destination. In America, you had Miami, and Miami Beach took gold. New Orleans took silver, and Fort Lauderdale took bronze. Interesting. My American clients, please tell me what you think about that. The final result. Miami and Miami Beach, New Orleans, and Fort Lauderdale. Those are your best cities trips. And anyway, you tell me about that. I want to know. You just let me in the comments or send me an email. Best destination in Australia. Have New Zealand. So Pacific, you have New Zealand to gold, Australia silver, and Fiji to bronze. Let me see. So this is a category where Greece won the best destination in Europe. You have Greece took gold, Spain took silver, and then Portugal. Can't argue that one, can I? No, that was so spot on. Best destination in the US, you had Hawaii took gold, Florida took silver, and Alaska took bronze. Alaska is snow. That's beautiful. I would like to be there as well. Then you have what was the next? In the Caribbean, you have the Dominican Republic took gold, St. Lucia took silver, and Jamaica took bronze. Okay, destination in Mexico, Los Cabos took gold, Riviera Maya took silver, Puerto Vallarta took bronze. Okay, where in the Middle East? Okay, I want to see something in the Middle East, and I'll be done with it. It was Egypt took gold, UAE silver, and Israel took bronze. What? UAE took silver? That is interesting too. I want to hear your opinions about this whole thing. The best culinary destination in the United States? New York City took gold, New Orleans took silver, Miami and Miami Beach took bronze. Wow. Still, I need to hear your thoughts on this. I need to hear your thoughts on those ones. Is it really New York City the home of culinary? Like, really? Is that how it thinks? Anyway, I would like to hear from you guys about what you think about that one. Here for you guys who just got engaged, this is for you guys. Best honeymoon destinations: Maui in the US took gold, Florida Keys and Key West silver, Miami and Miami Beach, Florida took the bronze. In the Caribbean, Santa Lucia took gold. Those are the best honeymoon destinations we're talking about, by the way. If you're the best wedding destinations in Central and South America, you have Costa Rica, Colombia, and Belize. And in the Caribbean, you have Dominican Republic to go to St. Lucia in Jamaica, and a wedding destination in Mexico, you have Riviera Maya, Los Cabos, and Cancun. I want to visit Cancun. Oh my God, got a lot of things to do. My to-do list is really very big. I would like some suggestions, please. Where to go in South America? I know I have to go to Peru, but I need some more suggestions of the first time I've ever been. I need to know. Give me some suggestions in the messages, and in what else, in an email. You can send me an email at kspotpodcast@gmail.com. Just send me an email there. Let's keep the conversation going. I think I'll call it today for this one. I think it's a good little brief episode. I want to keep us to discuss. We talked about a lot of things. Both the Athens Marathon and the Remembrance Sunday. They're very significant events. That's why I decided to make an episode like this about it. So as I told you, participating in these one of these events, or if you are part of them, if you've been part of it, part of one of them, or you've ever been, or if you've never been, these are worth it doing, because we managed to connect history and pay tribute to those people who sacrificed a lot for the freedom and the society that we have. So in any case, you always be part of these things. It's not just waste of time. There is a reason why they've been surviving for a number of years, from all the way then up to this day and age. They're still celebrating these events on these days and activities. So let's discuss what does these kind of even symbolize to you. The Athens Marathon, how can we ensure that the future generation remember the sacrifice made during, for example, the wars, the World War I and the World War II? Are the events enough, just like the events that we have now? Are they enough, or do you think we have to do more? So share your thoughts and insights in the comment sections of this episode. And also we open up a YouTube channel. If you guys fancy the YouTube version of the podcast, you can always go there to the YouTube and listen to the podcast. And also, don't forget to check out the earlier episodes. Interesting information. If you're traveling, have never been to Greece first time, you can always hit me up. You can always send me a message. Can have some, with any question that you have. I'll be glad to to assist you, to guide you, to give you some recs and recommendations, and know what to do if I have to, and also to guide into the proper places if we have the knowledge. And you do the same if I do come to your places, to any places that we travel. We stay in touch. Don't forget to subscribe and share, listen up, and in your own pace. From the episodes are available from wherever you listen to your podcast from, so find them. But I'm not going to stretch it any longer. This was a really amazing episode, and I hope you guys will pick something from it. And as always, keep improving, and I'm working on getting one of the guests. So if you're out there, you want to be part of the podcast, you can send me an email, and we see if we can link up and talk about a few things. Well, I've been your host, Francis, and you've been listening to Kspot. I'm out.